Another year of hundreds of Nyberg interviews. We're taking a look back at 2025 that includes cultural delights in New Haven, the history of a favorite coffee shop, hundreds of toys for sick children, and so much more. First, we begin with a story of a unique farm, Blue Iris Rescue and Retreat in Lebanon. It's 114 acres, and its mission is to rescue farm animals from various situations and give them a forever home. Meet the founder, Jamie Collins. Jamie, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Ann.
All right, you put this all together after you lost your husband to COVID-19. Tell me about how that happened.
Well, I grew up on a farm in Rocky Hill, Connecticut, and I knew in life I wanted to do something really meaningful with purpose and passion. And so I found that animals, farm animals, need a safe place to land if there's a neglect situation. And I decided to start this, and it's sort of become one animal after the next, and we rescued about 160 farm animals.
Wow. In how many years?
So we bought the property in 2021, and I started then, and I really went hardcore in 2022 and 23 rescuing farm animals. And now we started programs in 2024, and here we are.
All right, so let's see, here's some of the residents.
Yes.
Let's talk about them. So what kind of animals do you have?
So we have draft horses, cows, lots and lots of goats, chickens, roosters, sheep. There's right now on the farm about 120 animals.
You said this helped you and is helping you through your grief. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I realized when I lost my husband and things were really difficult emotionally, I realized we're all gonna go through grief somewhere in our life. And so the animals started healing me and helping me and being in nature. And so I decided to invite senior citizens, especially because their life changes, when someone passes away or things happen. So I bring senior centers to the farm to hang out with the animals. And it's really transformed lives. It's really incredible to see. Newtown Senior Center has been there now 3 times, and I love seeing the connection with the people and the animals, and they're so loved, and the laughter and joy it brings people.
What programs do you have on the farm, and do you take interns?
Yeah, absolutely. I had an intern this summer from Princeton. She's
Wow.
going to be a vet, and she was with me for 6 weeks. I work with the Center for Community Engagement at Eastern, and there's about 20 students that come to me weekly. This morning I worked with them, and then after that I run an ag science program with E.O. Smith, and they help doing the animal care. So they have the all grades coming through 3 days a week, and we help with the animal care.
Such a pastoral setting. Can people come visit, just come to the farm and say, hey, I want to look at these ducks right here?
Absolutely. So on our website, blueirisfarm.com, there's time with the herd. It's about an hour and a half time visit, and it's really affordable. It's $25 for adults, $15 for kids, and you get to go for a goat walk. So literally the goats will come out, kind of like a bunch of dogs, like walking and following and laughing.
Are you doing this all yourself, or have you hired some people?
So everyone is volunteer based. So I have the most amazing, I'm so grateful. There's no way I could do this without all the help. Everybody shows up and volunteers, from 7-year-old kids all the way up to 90-year-old people that have retired and have farmed and different things like that. And then I have regular students coming weekly.
And what's next for the farm? You have any more ideas?
Yeah, so we really want to build an educational barn so we can run year-long field trips. So that's our next.
And you'll take donations, right? Because you're a nonprofit.
Yes, absolutely.
I thought I'd get that in there.
Yes, we're a nonprofit, and we really will rely on donations. I've self-funded so far. It's really important to help the animals, help the people. We work with kids with autism, and it's really beautiful. I pair up the college students with different groups with autism, and they work together for 3 or 4 months, and we try to meet goals. And it's just beautiful to see the connection amongst everybody with the animals. And building an educational barn will be really phenomenal, because then that way we can serve and do more things in all year weather.
Jamie, thanks for making the world a better place.
Thank you so much for having me. And I welcome all of you from Connecticut and New York and Massachusetts. Come on over to the farm. It's a really special place.
There's a brand new director of arts, culture, and tourism for the city of New Haven. Her name is Sha McAllister. Let's find out about her. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So nice to see you. I watched your press conference and I think you're so full of joy.
Oh,
So thank you for serving the city.
Of course.
So what jazzes you about this field?
just the opportunities to really expose folks to different things, different avenues. I feel like the arts is a way of, it's like film, right? So you can read something, but once you see it and hear it, it embodies you much differently. It can be all encompassing. So I think through the arts and culture, you're able to reach people a little bit more deeper.
And then you get the tourism along with
Yeah,
it.
and
Yeah,
the
of course.
tourism too.
This is a very vibrant city in arts, in culture, in tourism. What do you plan to bring to the city and or expand on what's already there?
Yeah, the city already has a lot. There's already a lot booming, bustling in theater. You think about the Schubert, but also like Collective Consciousness, who has a show opening this weekend, Brokology. There's so many amazing independent artists. There's so many festivals that are already here. So my plan is to really help connect and maximize what's here. Also bring some amazing things to the city as well.
Like what?
You gotta stay tuned.
I was worried you were going to say that. But will it be shows or another festival? Can you give
I would
me
say
that?
a combination, because I really do enjoy all forms of creativity. I think there's power in culinary arts, there's film, literature, writing. There's so many photography. We have amazing photographers. There's also a lot of amazing fashion designers here as well. Already
That are
in
not
New Haven.
exposed enough, I think.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's awesome. And I also hit on your culinary arts. Is anything going to be new in that area? Maybe? Okay, you and I will talk. All right, when I was reading about you, you went to Albertus Magnus, where you got a Bachelor of Science degree in Healthcare Management and Criminal Justice. How does all that figure into this?
It doesn't. It doesn't, but it does, right? So a lot of the management skills that I learned, the criminal justice was to, when I was a younger woman, I was very much interested in, and still am, in social justice. That still is something that's important to me. So I wanted to understand criminal justice from that side, from like, okay, well, how are people stewarding the Justice Department? How are they already doing it? So where you can kind of find different gaps to elevate. And then the healthcare management, I used to be a business management major.
Well, that'll always help you,
Right.
especially as a woman.
Exactly, but a lot of people had a business management degree, so when they came out with healthcare, I was like, okay, well, just in case, I'll keep this in my pocket. But as God would so have it, I ended up in arts and culture, where I'm really happy. I was already coming from an organizing, producing background as far as events, and then it all kind of synced up.
And you were raised in New Jersey.
Yes.
What from New Jersey are you bringing here, if anything?
I would say the essence. People from New Jersey, especially Newark, Irvington, New Jersey, we take pride in how we dress, and just the culture of who we are. Like, I'm proud to be from New Jersey, very happy. Like, God bless the people from New York, but I'm not from New York. I'm happy to be from Jersey.
And now you're from New Haven.
You know, it's turning out to be that way.
That's right. Sha, thanks so much for being here, and I'm going to stay tuned to what you're bringing to the city.
Oh, thank you.
And we're just getting started. Still to come, a local coffee shop celebrating decades in business. We'll hear from the owner about the secret behind their success. And we'll talk to a U.S. Navy commander and combat pilot, how his training landed him a spot in Top Gun Maverick. We'll be right back. What does it take to build a coffee and tea business? Barry Levine is the man behind Willoughby's, which is celebrating 40 years in Connecticut. They opened up their first store on Chapel Street in New Haven on August the 5th, 1985, is one of the first micro roasters in the country, and now has 4 locations, 2 in New Haven, 1 in Madison, and 1 in Branford. Barry, so good to have you here.
Thank you, Ann. It's really nice to be here.
So you opened up in 85, I moved here in 87. I remember going into Willoughby's and smelling the coffee roasting inside. How did you and your partner go into this business in the first place?
Well, we were in another business before this. My partner, the deceased partner, Bob Williams, he and I both met when we were in the publishing business. And in 1980, we started a part-time business together that was bringing bread and other baked goods from New York bakeries up into Connecticut. I had recently moved to Connecticut, and one of the things that struck me was the lack at the time of any kind of artisanal or common breads that we were just used to seeing every day in New York. So we started doing that as a 2 or 3 day a week business. It grew a little bit over the years, became a 5 day, a 6 day business, a 7 day business. And we really had a desire to have a product that we could have some control over. Through exposure in the bread company, we got a sense of what was out there, what type of market there was for coffee, specialty coffee was really in its infancy.
Did you know anything about coffee, you and your partner?
Well, we were foodies.
Okay, that's a start.
And we actually were brewing making whole bean coffee and French press at the time. But as far as like deep knowledge, no.
So how do you know where to get the best beans that represent your company?
Well, this has changed a lot over the years. I mean, at the outset, there were not many places where we could even procure the coffee. But we did do our homework, and we had an approach right from the start that was like, okay, if you're going to do this, what's the best way you can do it? And that kind of led us down the path of becoming roasters and roasting our own coffee. We did that right from the start in the Chapel Street store. And then we continued to do that up until the point we opened a second store, and we fed both stores from the first one. But then once we expanded beyond that, we started to see the impracticality of trying to find retail spaces where we could roast. And in order to control the product and the quality and the freshness of the coffee we were roasting, we decided to centralize, and we have a plant in Branford, Connecticut. My role right now is basically I run the company, and I'm the coffee buyer. I oversee probably too many things.
What's your favorite bean?
Well, it's like, who's your favorite child?
I know, it's true.
I mean, there are several that I gravitate to, and I like coffees from East Africa, from Ethiopia and Kenya. I like coffees from Central America, from Panama, Costa Rica.
So a lot of them is the
A lot,
answer.
yeah. I mean, I bring home a variety of coffees.
And in building this business over 40 years, what was the most fun that you had? Because it's hard work.
It is hard work, but it's gratifying. It's gratifying and frustrating to run your own business. But on the gratifying side, you have control of your life, and it's really nice to see all the relationships that have come out of it.
Yes.
We have a tremendous number of producers that we deal with. Our staff is terrific. We see them come up and their lives flourish.
And because you've had a love affair with coffee, we're the benefit of that.
Yeah, I think that's true. Coffee's come a long way in 40 years.
Thanks for helping it do that.
Yeah.
Barry, thanks so much for being on.
Yeah, thank you,
Appreciate
Ann.
it. You betcha. Up next, a legendary nightclub in the Elm City celebrating a big milestone. The celebration of 50 years of music at New Haven's Toad's Place is underway. In its heyday, it was one of the most important nightclubs in the country for rock and roll, but other genres as well. The owner of Toad's Place, Brian Phelps, sat down with me to tell me about a new documentary that highlights its rich history. Brian, thanks so much for being here.
It's great being here, and it's a real honor.
Well, Brian, 50 years. You came in 1976 to manage it.
Right.
How did you end up owning it?
Well, I eventually became a partner, and then time went on, and my partner ran into a few difficulties, unfortunately. So I was able to buy him out at the time, and then time went on, and having had control of the business, then I moved on and bought the rest of the building from him. That was Mike Spurndle. He was there originally with a couple of his partners.
From East Haven.
Right, and his partners left after the second year. He was still there. And so I was able to work something out with him. So it worked out for both of us, so that I could keep the club going and he could kind of go out and do his own thing.
All right, tell me about the club under your guidance. Give me the gamut of what happened there.
Well, I'm still trying to do what we were trying to do from the beginning, and that's bring the best entertainment that we can find to the New Haven area. And we don't care what style of music it is, whether it's hip hop or rock and roll or jazz or country or folk, we like them all. So if they're coming through and they're talented, we want to bring them in and we want to show them off.
Give me some examples of your favorite nights at Toad's Place.
Well, we run live concerts and we run some dance parties. Now, the live concerts are what we're known for. The dance parties just help us make some extra money.
Sure.
You know? But some of the biggest concerts that we've had are ones that everyone's known. The Rolling Stones, of course, is the biggest. And we've had U2, who came in 3 times for us, Billy Joel, and Bob Dylan. Dylan, of course, played the longest show in his career, over 5.5 hours. And we had Bon Jovi and David Bowie, and we've even had Drake and Kendrick Lamar and SZA, who played the Super Bowl, and many other ones. Cyndi Lauper, Huey Lewis and the News, Bruce Springsteen, Bob Seger, and it just goes on and on and on.
Was it your intention to own it someday when you came there in '76?
Yes.
Oh, it was? Okay.
Yes. I wanted to get involved with it. Now, my idea wasn't just to be the manager. I wanted to get involved, and so I just moved forward and with Mike, and I said, this is what I want to do. And he knew it. And so we said, okay, you know, it's better to have a good partner with you than trying to do it alone. You're only as good as the people who are working with you.
All right, 50 years, how are you celebrating?
We're going to bring in the best bands that we can possibly find this year. We're going to celebrate the whole year, all the way through maybe October or November of this year, even though the date started on January 1st, because Toads opened on January 1st, '75. The exact lineage can be found in the book that I wrote with Randy Beach, and it came out a couple of years ago, and we sold about 10,000 copies. And it details everything that we did during that path. All
right, who are you talking to bring in? Are you at liberty to tell us or tease anybody?
Not until they're confirmed, but we're talking with some people, and we believe we're going to have a good lineup. One in particular that we haven't had in a while is Jeff Lorber. Now, Jeff Lorber's a jazz guy. He wrote the song called Toad's Place.
I'll be darned.
It's a great song. He wrote it at Toad's Place during a snowstorm. And he broadcast it live on YBC. There wasn't many people there because there was 2 feet of snow. But he stayed for 2 days, and he wrote the song, and he just said, you know, I'm going to call this Toad's Place. And it's one of his most liked songs.
Wow. All right. So when you bring these folks in, will they all play at Toad's Place, or will some of the acts be so big you're going to have to bring them to the green?
No, we're going to bring them all in the club. They can scale down.
And how big, how many people can the club hold?
1,000.
So it's pretty big.
It's big, yeah.
Brian, thanks so much for coming on. I can't wait to see who you bring in. I'll be staying tuned for that.
Thank you very much, Ann.
After the break, a program at Yale New Haven Hospital helping children for more than 30 years. And you'll hear from a U.S. Navy fighter pilot about his life with the Blue Angels and all of his aviation stunts in the movie Top Gun Maverick. Today we're going to talk about the Toy Closet program at Yale New Haven Children's Hospital, which I founded more than 30 years ago, and to date it remains strong, helping children while they're hospitalized. It thrives because of donations from the general public and beyond, and because of the dedicated members of the Hospital Auxiliary, which has grown at all these years. To them, I will always be grateful. And here to talk about that is Diane Petra, who knows the ins and outs of the Toy Closet program. So good to see you, Diane.
Thank you.
All right, over the years, it has grown instrumentally. Tell me where we are now.
At this point, we have 12 closets in the hospital on York Street. And then we have 14 outpatient facilities because as opposed to children that are in the hospital receiving a toy, every time a pediatric patient is treated, upon discharge or when they leave, they get to choose a new toy. The whole concept is that they leave with a smile and a happy memory, not thinking about whatever treatment they just had, even if it was just an x-ray or a dental exam, whatever. Last year we gave out 338,000 toys, according to hospital records. That's how many children were treated and discharged. So that's the only way I can keep track of numbers.
And you do keep track. So over 30 years, there have been millions of toys given out.
Yes. Yeah.
And a playground has been built and other programs to help kids. I think a lot of times when this all went together, and you all have done an amazing job, this is year round. It's not just around the holidays.
Year round, every day, all day.
So we need help.
We need serious help.
Because it's for everybody's child.
We do.
And that's what's so great about this program is that children who have been hospitalized, oftentimes they'll have a birthday party and they'll give back and bring the toys. And donations come in from schools, and that's the beauty of this program.
I call it the pay it forward mentality of the patients. And they really come through. They hold the toy drives, the lemonade stand proceeds, bar mitzvahs. It's really the kids who give back.
What is a special story that you can share with the viewers about a child who's gotten a toy?
Well, the other day I actually was at Goose Lane, where I was delivering
in
Guilford, where I was delivering toys. I actually was delivering plush. We deliver plush to the emergency department, and the concept is that when they walk in and they're really scared, they get something to hold on to. So there was a little boy, and his dad was holding him, and he had a nice cut on his head, and he's sobbing. And of course, I just went over with a nice little teddy bear, and so he wrapped it in his arm, and that little moment is what counts.
That's everything.
So, yeah.
And that's why it was started.
Yeah.
How can the general public right now help us help the kids?
They can either, we don't buy many toys, only when we run out of specific things like Barbie dolls. But toy drives and donations to the Toy Closet program at the Yale New Haven Hospital Auxiliary. And we accept toys all year round, every day.
Well, I want to take this opportunity again to thank all of you, because I know you're driving in cars, you're trucking toys all over the hospital, and as the hospital has grown, as you have said, there's outreach programs all over the place.
Right.
But it's all about doing good and helping kids.
Yeah, it's all about the kids.
Thank you so much for
You're
being
welcome.
here. Our next guest is a retired U.S. Navy commander and a combat pilot who flew the aerial stunts in Top Gun Maverick. He's also released a book called Lead Solo, Learning Life's Vectors from an FA-18 Blue Angel Aviator. Take a look. My guest is the very military decorated Frank Walleye Weiser. Welcome, and thank you for serving our country.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. That video just takes my breath away. We have so much ground to cover here. What led you to the Navy in the first place and flying for the Blue Angels?
Well, interestingly, I got my second choice. I went to the Naval Academy as a young man specifically to be a Navy SEAL. And the way that played out actually weighs and factors in fairly heavily in the book, because in my estimation, my life in aviation started as a failure and got pretty bad and went downhill from there before it got better. And so when I had the chance to talk to young men and women, especially students at the Naval Academy or in high school, who haven't probably failed very often, I share that story pretty early on, because they probably don't realize that when they're watching the big screen and seeing Top Gun Maverick and an F-18 ripping over at 10 feet, that the person in the cockpit was one flight away from failing out of flight school and never going on to an aircraft carrier or serving at all. So that is a really relevant aspect of my life. But I went to be a SEAL and was assigned naval aviation because it matters more the fact that you serve your country, not how you do it, if that makes sense. And then had a wonderful 21 years flying airplanes. And from the very first minute I was in an airplane and flying, I loved every second of it.
Wow. All right. Tell me about the precision it takes to be a Top Gun pilot.
Well, anytime you hop into these airplanes, we don't talk about flying the airplane, we wear it. We strap the airplane onto our back because the aircraft is really our weapon. So it's almost like a Marine running up a hill with their rifle. Our weapon is this airplane. And the level of precision that it allows you is really incredible. The Blue Angels routinely will fly 12 to 18 inches apart. And we'll put these aircraft so close that if you're the number 4 pilot in the Blue Angels and you were to jettison your canopy, the glass over your head, you could with both hands reach out and grab 2 different aircraft wings from your seated position. So it is remarkably close and remarkably precise. And what the experts at Top Gun do is just as incredible, where they are on the cutting edge of new tactics and learning and experimenting with what's going to work best for our warfighters overseas. And so in both cases, there is a level of precision that is that requires a great deal of focus.
Tell me about your time as a combat pilot in Iraq and Afghanistan and taking off and landing on those aircraft carriers.
That's unquestionably the most worthwhile and important and rewarding part of my career was the 3 combat deployments I did. So I cruised and deployed on the Stennis, that's an aircraft carrier, and then another one called the Theodore Roosevelt. In one case from Virginia, the other case from California, but in every case, we went to the Middle East. And so the aircraft carrier could stay in the Persian Gulf and would fly missions into Iraq, or it would stay in the North Arabian Sea and would transit 100 miles over open ocean, then over the entire country of Pakistan and then to Afghanistan. And those missions were typically 7 or 8 hours long. And so you've been in this little bitty F-18 for 8, 9, 10 hours in some cases. And the aircraft is so tight that you truly can't even turn to see what's on your right or left side. You just have to feel for it. So it becomes a very physical endeavor in addition to being fairly mentally taxing.
It's just amazing. All right, you're retired. I'm betting you're still busy.
I have stayed busy. I tried to reinvent myself to some degree and not fly professionally, but rather go into real estate development and construction and contracting. Watching how my background as a Navy pilot could somehow be translated into being a general contractor or a real estate developer, which don't logically flow, did in fact make sense to some degree. And then ultimately, I will admit that I miss flying more than I had anticipated. So I live at an airport. For a while, I ran the airport as the airport manager. It's a private neighborhood built around an airport, and I own 2 airplanes. But also, I fly professionally as a Gulfstream pilot. So I can scratch my itch to some degree by flying around for me, the G700, the single greatest corporate aircraft ever built, bar none.
Commander, thank you for serving our country and thank you for being here.
Honored to be here. Thank you for having me.
And coming up, a shop in Guilford is serving up gelato and smiles. How this is helping those with special needs become more independent. My next guests are dynamic. They care deeply about those with special needs and are always paving the way for young adults and kids to feel worth and joy. They've opened up a gelato shop in Guilford called Wave, which employs and teaches a special group of people to become more independent. My guests are Tara Beatty, a special education teacher, and Carrie Climby, a speech pathologist, and Joey Conover, who works at Wave.
Yes.
So this is your first job, Joey?
Yes, it is.
How's it going?
Fun.
What do you do during your day?
I see these best ladies close to me.
So they take good care of you
Yes.
during the day. Are you serving up ice cream?
Yes.
What's your favorite flavor?
Vanilla.
Vanilla. You know what? That's half the world. Okay, let's talk about Wave, Tara, and how it came to be.
So Carrie and I have worked together for years, and in the last couple of years, we've been working on social skills and life skills with young adults past the school age or just getting ready to get past the school age. And we've done classes and social skills, and we really wanted to focus on the vocational piece because 80% of young adults with disabilities are unemployed. And that really is a disservice because we've been working at schools to teach them and get them ready, and they're really great workers. And so we wanted to try to fill that gap in our community. And that's how we had the idea, and with some fundraising and a great community around us, we were able to pull it off and open our doors this summer, which has been super.
Okay, Carrie, how does it work? When we arrive to get our ice cream or whatever it is, a treat from Joey, how does it work?
So one of the biggest things we talked about when we were opening and we did training before we opened was that we want everyone to feel welcome when they walk through the doors. So the biggest thing is you come in and you should be welcomed with, welcome to the Wave. What can we get you? Come down here. You can order. There's 13 flavors of gelato and sorbet. We have candy, old like penny candy, where you can get cookies and cappuccino, espresso.
Oh my gosh.
Affogatos are the biggest treat. A lot of people like that.
Those are awesome.
So we have everyone kind of stationed at different places. We found what strengths that a lot of our workers have, and so some might be scooping, some might be doing toppings. Joey is king at register for us.
What do you like about register, Joey?
The money.
You like you like taking the money in. I love that.
Yes.
All right. So where are you located exactly, and what are your hours?
So we're just off the green in Guilford, just on Whitfield Street, so just a little bit behind towards the docks. And our hours right now are a little bit in flux as we try to figure everything out. We've been open about 3 to 7 during the week, and then
Every
on the
day
weekends.
or just weekends?
Every day.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And then on the weekends.
How can the public help the two of you grow Wave?
So actually, we do have a fundraiser at Owen Ego on October 5th. It'll be an Oktoberfest theme, so it'll be lots of fun for everyone. And we will be serving gelato, so that will be one way. And people can come. We always welcome volunteers, and certainly financially anyway, people can help just to keep us sustaining so that we can get as many people in as possible.
And you're paying these folks as well.
Yep,
So
everyone's
you're
getting paid, and it's been, right, you're gonna, just looking forward to that paycheck, and they get tips. They're very proud of all of that. We had one young lady who bought her mom, with her tip money, a Dunkin' Donuts, and she was just beaming and so proud that she was able to do that.
I can imagine. Well, thank you both for making the world a better place. And Joey, save your money for a house.
That's what he told us on the way here.
And still ahead, what do you think about bow ties for dogs? How a fashion choice may help dogs in shelters get adopted. That story's next. Now to a college student on a mission to help shelter dogs find their forever homes, one bow tie at a time. My guest is Sir Darius Brown, a freshman at Morehouse College and founder of Bow and Paws. Welcome, Sir Darius. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Very good, thank you. All right, how did this project start? Take me back to the very beginning. And this is personal to you.
Yes. So I started my project when I was really, really young. I actually started off making bow ties for people, and I used to wear my bow ties in public. And this was originally a business, but in 2018, because of Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma and all the destruction that happened, I saw that there was a lot of people being helped and saved, but I didn't really see the dogs and cats. I was always confused about why weren't they being helped? How come they weren't getting the same attention as people? So I was already making bow ties at the time, and I realized that because I was making bow ties, what if, I received good comments about me wearing bow ties all the time. So I thought, if I look good on a bow tie, why wouldn't a dog or a cat look good on a bow tie as well? So I decided that, I'm gonna just pivot from making bow ties for people to dogs and cats. And ever since then, I've been making bow ties and helping shelter pets.
That's so great. So, Sir Darius, who taught you how to sew in the first place?
So my sister was the one who taught me how to sew when I was really, really young. It was actually a family legacy. My grandmother taught my sister, and then my sister taught me. My sister originally made hair bows for the ladies at her school, and then I didn't want to be like my sister. I wanted to be different, so I decided to make bow ties.
All right, you've written a book about this. Tell me about it.
Yes, so I've written a book called Project Possum, Saving Shelter Pets one Bow Tie at a Time. And pretty much the book is covering all the animal shelters that I've been to and visited. And it covers about all the different success stories and different journeys of the shelter pets that I was able to help rescue and save through my bow ties. And it's an unbelievable book. And hearing all those stories to this day and just looking back, it really just makes my heart so happy.
How much money have you raised over the years?
Yeah, so throughout this time, I have raised over $500,000 in support of shelter pets, and I continue to go strong this day.
And you even heard from former President Barack Obama about this project, correct?
Yes, I actually received a letter of recognition from former President Barack Obama. And when I received the letter, I was just amazed. You know, receiving the letter, I was just all over the place. Words can't even describe how happy and how honored I was. Receiving a letter from a man of his status, from his status is like so amazing. And I really motivated me to really think outside the box and come up with more ways on how I could really save as many shelter pets around the world as I possibly.
I just love this project. And finally, now that you're a freshman in college, are you still sewing?
So thankfully, because I'm in college, I can't sew all the bow ties like I normally do at home. But thankfully, I have a manufacturer that helps me produce all the bow ties that I need while I'm still able to still sell and donate my bow ties.
All right, that's so wonderful. Sir Darius, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And next, we're talking about a dog of a different kind. We'll talk to the owner of this robotic dog about its capabilities. And her restaurant has been a staple in New Haven for the last 50 years. How the owner of Claire's Cornucopia is discussing her 5th book. My next guest is the owner of a popular New Haven staple that's been around for more than 50 years, Claire's Cornucopia. She's just released her 5th cookbook that contains 50 vegetarian recipes that people have loved over the years, including me. My guest is Claire Criscuolo, RN. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Ann.
So good to see you.
So good to see you again.
All right, so here's the book, and we also have a graphic on it. 50 vegetarian recipes from 50 years at Claire's. All right, is this your most favorite cookbook? Because when it had, and look at this, I've got to post it to the Lithuanian coffee cake, which, as you can see in front of us, there it is. When my oldest was little, I used to come in and always order that after the soup.
Okay.
All right, so where was I? Okay, is this your favorite book? And these are the 50 recipes.
In many ways, it's my favorite book because it has more stories and less recipes. And the stories, I finally got to tell the story of kind of how we began and some of the really special things that happened.
How did you begin?
Okay, so we started, my husband and I really just wanted to work together. And there was this restaurant in Gloucester, Massachusetts called The Raven. And they had a blackboard menu. And we used to go there every summer. And I didn't want to be a nurse anymore. I was a psychiatric nurse at the Connecticut Mental Health Center on the drug and alcohol program. And it was a great, amazing place. But I just really wanted to cook and build a community downtown New Haven.
And boy, have you. All right, we should say all the proceeds from this book go where?
To our Be Kinder Than Necessary project.
Which is so you, Claire. You're always giving back. All right, how has it evolved since I was in there with my Lindsay 40 years ago?
You know, it's evolved in many ways. It's the same. The philosophy is the same, but the recipes have changed. We started out really just cooking everyone's grandmother's cooking. We really wanted to establish a community where people could see how much we have in common by eating foods that are from our history. And so many of us tell our story through our food, and certainly our religion. Pretty much every religion has some kind of abstinence as part of the religion, so it fits into everything, having a vegetarian restaurant. But we actually started out with meat. We started out with souvlaki and chicken Kiev. And, my brother used to travel the world when he was young. He would work in a factory all during high school. And as soon as Notre Dame High School got out, he would head for Europe. And he'd come home with these wonderful stories of different foods he ate. And I would go to the library and get cookbooks and come home and try them. And my mother would always say, "Don't you want to cook Grandma's cooking?" I'm like, well, of course I want to cook Grandma's cooking, but I also want to cook other people's grandmother's cooking.
Is there anything else you want to do with Claire's that you haven't yet?
Probably this 501c3 is kind of a big deal that I never thought we'd even
Tell me about
contemplate. So we started, our hashtag has been Be Kinder Than Necessary for decades. It's on our t-shirts, it's on our mugs, it's pretty much everywhere at Claire's. And we wanted to, we kind of, our mission has always been to really lift New Haven children out of poverty. So we've donated to our favorite causes, like New Haven Reads and Clifford Beer's Clinics and Connecticut CASA, and on and on and on. But we want to do that. We started the hygiene poverty closet called Someone Cares Closet. And that's how it started. We started sending hygiene products there. And from there, we wanted to go further. We want to teach empathy and kindness, because I think our kids really, they're kind of an underutilized asset. You know, these kids could do a lot more, and we could look at changing the power narrative. You know, maybe a kid who might be getting in trouble, or maybe a kid who doesn't feel they fit in. You know, give them some other kind of power. Like maybe the power to help a kid who has one leg and needs a ramp. Maybe help a kid who's sick in the hospital. You know, to maybe write a book or help them read.
Claire, it is such a pleasure to know you and all that you have done for New Haven. Thank you so much. And go out and grab this book because it goes to charity.
Thanks so much.
You betcha. Now to a unique kind of dog. Well, it has 4 legs and follows commands. It's an animal of a different sort. It lives at the University of New Haven and is a teaching tool in the School of Engineering. Meet the robot dog and its owner now. All right, so we have Spot. Did you name him?
No, it's from Boston Dynamics.
Boston Dynamics. Are they all Spot then?
Yes, they are.
I did not know that. Okay, how much does it weigh? And it's also a quadrupedal robot.
Yes.
What is that?
So that's a robot with 4 legs, and just the base without the arm, I think, is around 50 or 60 pounds somewhat, but with the arm, it's a lot more.
And the school has had this since November. What are its applications? I'm sure the sky's the limit and you're still learning.
Right. So this is funded through the National Science Foundation's MRI program. It's called the Major Research Instrumentation Program. And so it's 2 uses, research and education. So one of the things is, when people look at some equipment like this, some may instantly like it, gravitate towards it. Others may, be apprehensive.
Well, it looks scary, I have to say.
So, educating at least so people are not scared, because if, artificial intelligence embedded robots are the future, then the first thing would be don't be scared, learn about how to use it and, working with it. So education is a goal. And the second thing is research related to, exploring hazardous areas, which are hazardous for humans.
It can go places humans cannot.
Yes, and also search and rescue operations.
What's it made out of?
So this outer body is mostly, polymer based, but internally there's a lot of metal. There's motors in the joints and all kinds of electronics.
How long does it run on a charge?
So about an hour, depending on what you do.
Okay, so not that long.
Not that long.
All right, let's show some of the folks its capabilities. What can it do?
So here, this is, just some basic motion. It's just walking and...
And how close do you have to stand to it?
You are supposed to maintain a 4-meter distance from it, but it is, it has an automatic mode where if I try to run it into the wall, it won't.
Will it step back?
It will just stay there and try to not hit anything. So for example, if I try to make it run into me, it should.
Oh, sure, it hesitates.
Yes.
What else can it do?
You can use its arm, for example. So say, operate arm. And
so it can get into areas?
Yes.
All right, and can it grab things with
yes,
its, let's call
absolutely.
it a snout?
Absolutely. So, there you go.
Wow.
And there's a flashlight in there. There's a few other sensors in there. It's called time of flight sensor, so it can figure out how close or far objects are. And with the arm installed, some might think that there is not a whole lot of payload capacity left because, it already weighs a lot. But you could drag, let's say, cinder blocks behind it, and it would do that behind, no problem. You can try to push it.
Can I try that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh!
There you go.
What is this going to be able to do for mankind?
Well, my hope is, like I said, it assists in the search and rescue kind of missions. So my student, he's trying to figure out, well, this thing is incredibly well at walking, but what happens if it steps onto compromised surfaces? Because if you're pulling things out of rubble or whatever, you don't know what you're stepping into. How do you know that using AI before you go ahead for a task like that? And so maybe judging that, making sure that it's safe for it to go in or other humans to go into, in that setting, and then hopefully helping first responders out. That's the goal.
So how many of these are in the state, or do you have the only one?
I would like to say I have the only one, but I don't think that's entirely true.
Yeah.
But at least in university settings, we might be the only one.
Yeah, and that, I can't wait to see what it does when somebody really does need its help and mankind can't get to that person. This spot will do it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it, Doctor. And thanks for watching this year's Nyberg Interviews. I hope you've learned a lot of things you never would have uncovered on your own.